Well, happy Friday, everyone. I'm Chris Brown. It's time for your weekend review from ClarkCountyToday.com. We're going to start you down by the river, the Columbia River, that is, where heavy April showers have pushed the mighty Columbia to just over 15.5 feet in downtown Vancouver as of today. That's less than half a foot below flood stage, but 2 feet lower than the 2017 flood. The river is expected to slowly recede over the coming days, but logs and other debris will remain a danger for boaters in local waterways for the next several days. Already for the month of April, we've gotten close to 2.5 inches of rain. That's not far off from our average rainfall total for the entire month. This week, the body of a missing Camas man was found in the Washougal River at Hathaway Park. It appears 52-year-old Chad Holmes had been shot in the head. On Tuesday, Clark County investigators arrested 47-year-old Randy Schmidt, Holmes' neighbor, charging him with second-degree murder. Holmes had gone with Schmidt into town on February 5th, but Schmidt came back alone 3 hours later, driving a different vehicle and wearing different clothes. He said Holmes had gotten out of the vehicle and walked away. The Yukon was discovered about a month later in the Lewis River near Paradise Point. After Holmes' body was found, Schmidt said the two had struggled in the vehicle and a shotgun accidentally went off, killing his neighbor. Schmidt is being held in the Clark County Jail on $750,000 bail with another court appearance set for next week. The Clark County Council is hitting the gas pedal on plans to bring new development to the area northeast of the fairgrounds. Someday not so long from now, this rural landscape will be dotted with new homes, businesses, retail space, parks, and more. This is the area around 179th Street near the Clark County Fairgrounds, and it's the last chunk of undeveloped land within the city of Vancouver's urban growth boundary. The 179th Street improvement area covers over 5,000 acres, 2,100 of which is currently protected under urban holding. A full build-out, a report paid for by the county, anticipates the area could bring 7,600 new jobs, 5,650 new housing units, $2.9 billion in construction revenue, and $34 million in ongoing annual tax revenue. But before urban holding can be lifted, the county has to find a way to fund a series of transportation improvements in the area. Those include realigning 10th Avenue to join 15th Avenue, replacing the intersections on 179th at 29th and 50th Avenues, moving Delville Road on the west side of I-5, and more. Those improvements are expected to total around $66 million, just over $19 million of which is currently unfunded. That's where the I-5 179th Street Transportation Area Committee comes in. They've spent the past few months looking into ways the county can raise the funds to show improvements are reasonably funded. Those include potentially using banked capacity to increase property taxes for the county's general fund or road fund. Now, the county could also implement additional traffic impact fees, although the region is already one of the most expensive for developers in unincorporated Clark County. Now, of course, some of this hinges on whether local legislators are successful in bumping up the timeline on $50 million from the state to renovate the freeway interchange at 179th and I-5. Right now, funding isn't available until 2023 there, which would mean construction likely wouldn't begin until a couple of years after that. The council is hoping funding is bumped to 2021 so their local street improvements would be completed around the same time as the freeway interchange. The county council is set to hear from the public about the funding options at a meeting on May 7th. So how do you feel about the development coming to the 179th Street area? You can sound off online or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or even Instagram to be part of the conversation about what's happening in your community. Fewer teens are drinking or smoking, but more are vaping or using marijuana. Those were some of the takeaways from a collaborative meeting this week hosted by the Prevent Coalition. The meeting focused on new data specifically for 10th graders around things like substance abuse, mental health, and trauma. The goal of the event was to create a dialogue around the numbers and effectively network to create new ways of combating drug and alcohol abuse and their consequences. Mental health issues and suicide remain an area of high concern for people tracking the data. Prevent Coalition's next event will be in June, bringing together groups from across Clark County to continue the conversation. A Skyview High School athletic trainer is getting some well-deserved national recognition. ClarkCountyToday.com's Jacob Grandeman has his story.
Some people crave affirmation and recognition, but not Jeff Kraebel. Jeff is an athletic trainer and physical therapist for Rebound Orthopedics in Vancouver, as well as the contracted athletic trainer for Skyview High School. When he heard he was nominated for the Newell Award for the National Athletic Trainer of the Year, it was a pleasant, if not sought-after, surprise.
Oh, it's a great honor. I honestly didn't know much about it, and kind of was preparing for a doctor's presentation. Was told by our community relations gal that I was nominated, so I was kind of thrown off. Definitely exciting nomination.
Sports runs in Jeff's family, with his father Dave having a short run with the Seattle Seahawks in '78, and his sister Catherine playing for the WNBA for 8 years. Jeff's passion for athletic training and therapy took him to WSU Pullman, and from there to an NFL internship. Now, as one of the most appreciated people in Clark County high school sports, he says he simply loves helping people.
The rewarding part of my job is that I get to work with these patients that they come in discouraged, frustrated, they're in pain, and I get to do everything I can to, one, start making them feel better. Hey, I'm going to be okay, and hey, I can get back to the things I want to do, whether it's on the field, sports, hiking, things they want to do, their goals when they come into PT.
For ClarkCountyToday.com, I'm Jacob Graneman.
Good.
Thank you, Jacob. In his editorial this week, ClarkCountyToday.com editor Ken Vance offered some thoughts on how sports can provide examples for living our daily lives. Specifically, Vance shared how the actions of Texas Tech men's coach Chris Beard and Baylor women's coach Kim Mulkey moved him following the recent NCAA tournament. Vance praised each coach for showing class, character, and integrity. First, after his team was defeated in overtime by Virginia in the men's championship game, Beard gave what Vance called one of the classiest interviews I've ever witnessed in sports. And after her team defeated Notre Dame by 1 point in the women's championship game, Mulkey also delivered an emotional post-game interview. But it was her comments a few days later when she said she would welcome an invitation for her team to be honored by President Donald Trump at the White House that Vance finds worth noting. You might remember several championship teams, most notably the NBA's Golden State Warriors, have refused to attend the White House for the traditional post-championship event with the president. Mulkey's previous title teams visited the White House in 2005 when George W. Bush was president, and again in 2012 when Barack Obama was president. Vance closed by saying that he wished more coaches and athletes, for that matter, had the class, character, and integrity displayed this week by Beard and Mulkey. Speaking of sports, it's time for Paul Valencia and your ClarkCountyToday.com sports update.
This week on ClarkCountyToday.com, we interviewed 5 athletic directors from the most successful league in Washington high school sports. In the past year, the Class 2A Greater St. Helens League has won 5 state championships in team sports: Ridgefield Volleyball, Hawkinson Football, Washougal Girls Basketball, Columbia River Boys Soccer, Woodland Softball. All are reigning champions. We asked the athletic directors to give us their secret to success. After our story posted, social media was abuzz with fans from all over the league. They wanted to let us know that there are other teams in the 2A JSHL that have chances at winning state titles in the near future. The 2A Greater St. Helens League, the League of Champions. We also shared the story of Karl Johnson, an assistant coach in center athletics and a teacher in the Battleground School District. After a major scare last spring, he dedicated himself to getting into shape. Karl has lost 70 pounds, and at the age of 55, he is returning to compete in the sport he loves, wrestling. It is a family celebration, too, as his sons are coaching him. One more note to that story. Karl grew up in Paradise, California, the city that was destroyed by fire last year. Beyond wanting to be an inspiration to his family and friends in Clark County, he also wants to inspire family and friends in Paradise.
Thanks so much, Paul. And there you have a quick look at just some of the many stories you'll find this week at ClarkCountyToday.com. If you have a story idea or just a comment, you can shoot us an email, news@ClarkCountyToday.com. For all of us at Clark County Today, I'm Chris Brown. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.